What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of CryptoZombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having an excellent day today. Bitcoin under $50,000. What? We were just over 50K yesterday. Now we're back under it today. Obviously, Bitcoin is a scam. Sell everything. Forget about it. It's over. No, obviously, I'm just kidding with you guys. But in all sincerity, though, we have been struggling to get back above that 50K level. Now, I have expressed to you that there still was that possibility of Bitcoin falling down and refilling some of these lower levels, maybe between 40,000 to 42,000. You can see right here, we did have a nice bounce at our previous resistance support after breaking out of this falling wedge, but is there enough momentum to hold Bitcoin? Well, there are a few things, actually some that are fundamental, that could signal Bitcoin might be bearish in the short term. But before you go getting, crazy bearish and thinking that everything is over, I actually want to show you possibly the most important Bitcoin chart ever. And this is not clickbait. I literally mean it. Stick around. This is the most significant chart for Bitcoin. And right now it is still looking incredibly bullish. So definitely stick around for that. I want to talk about that. We'll go over some key levels that I'm looking at. I also want to talk about gold. I know that we joke about gold. I know that we say like, oh, it'll get replaced, or people, gold is dead. Well, it might actually literally be dying today. Some crazy revelation that came out I'll tell you guys about as well. And finally, we need to talk about probably the craziest price prediction I have ever heard for Bitcoin. So if you guys thought yesterday's prediction of around 700,000 by the end of this year was nuts, wait until you hear this Bitcoin price prediction. So if that sounds good to you, you know what to do. If you are not subscribed, consider it. We do have a free Telegram group down below. If you're interested, check it out, join it. And without further ado, let's dive into the chart. So having a look right here, you guys can see that we did have a nice break out of this falling wedge. I told you guys we had multiple opportunities down here to put in some amazing longs, which if you guys actually took that trade, you are still up today, even though we did get up to about 52 and we have pulled back. I am looking for some of that support right here. Why did I just take that level off? You can see right here, this was acting as a very critical level for Bitcoin. We had resistance again back here in the falling wedge. We finally got above it and it has acted as support. So we do have to see if this level holds for Bitcoin. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that we have data from Skew showing that the realized correlation between Bitcoin's price and the S&P has actually, S&P 500 has surged to a 5-month high. Now, for the longest period of time, we had seen that Bitcoin was an extremely decoupling phase from the S&P, right? That was doing one thing, Bitcoin was doing the other. So they say that there's plenty of reasons why this, you could see Bitcoin, maybe if it is correlated, that could be bad, right? But I just want to point out probably the most important chart that we need to look for Bitcoin correlation is Bitcoin to gold. Now, gold has actually been falling pretty much ever since Michael Saylor decided to start buying Bitcoin. And it does seem that gold is the less favorable of the assets to hedge against inflation. We will talk about more on that later. Now, going and having a look at the whale bubbles, right? We've had a lot of whale activity around the $46,000 level. Now, the next level that you can see right here is right around $39,000. So does that mean that if these levels can't hold, are we destined to fill this blue box territory? Now, some people thought that this fake out wick down here could have been the bottom, and that was it. Obviously, front running everyone who was waiting for those lower levels. But the thing that I wanted to point is I always look for these very critical resistances to flip supports. That's one of the biggest themes on this channel if you've been watching. And one of the most important ones back here was when Bitcoin originally topped out. We had the peak at around that $42,000 level, and we had the 30% correction down to 28,400, right? So that was a very significant consolidation period for Bitcoin. So I would still not be surprised if Bitcoin, and you can see right here, we are putting in a lower high, actually did come down and retested that box, potentially even maybe having that wick back down to that $39,000 level, getting back down to that whale bubble before moving forward, right? So I still want to say that is a possibility. And another thing that's also confirming this as well is the fact that when we have a look at the 21 exponential in comparison to this moving average right here, which is the 50 daily moving average, we see that once we tend to fall below this, we do actually pick up some support right there. And having a look at where we're sitting sitting right now, that is actually sitting right around the $42,000 level. So there's a lot of things that are still signaling that Bitcoin may want to come down here, retest this moving average, go down to the whale level, and also refill our blue box territory. So lots of things kind of pointing to the fact that Bitcoin still may be in its consolidation phase, just like we had consolidation here from the beginning to where we from the top here to the bottom, we had 19 days of consolidation. And from the top right here to where we are right now, we've only had 11 days of consolidation. So it's possible that Bitcoin could continue to consolidate for another week, and then that would have us fill that. Now, Bitcoin could totally blast over the weekend. Anything can happen. But right now, it's looking like we still need to potentially do a little more consolidation. But let me show you why there is no need to be bearish, and this is the most important Bitcoin chart you're ever going to see. In my opinion, this is also the most bullish case for Bitcoin and the proof that we are literally in the most explosive rally, and this is just the beginning. Now, you can see right here, these are very simple trend lines, okay? I only have several I need to show you. The first one I want to show you is this red trend line right here. This was the most important resistance, right, during the bear market. Every time Bitcoin would hit this level, it would fall and fall and fall. And finally, when it just couldn't take it anymore and we had just completely flatlined out, Bitcoin had one of the biggest drops we had ever seen, 50%. This was one of the scariest drops at the point of the bear market, where this was where a lot of people were running for the hills saying Bitcoin is dead. Once you start hearing Bitcoin is dead, that's when you really need to, sell the house, sell the kids. Not financial advice. Don't sell the house or sell the kids. But you can see right here, we started another uptrend. Now, this became the support. And this is what I'm trying to tell you guys about resistance support. It's very critical. Now, look, back here, we had it forming a support. Every time we hit it, we just kept bouncing higher and higher and higher. Then, when we had this crazy spike up here, it acted as support again. But once we fell below it, well, now it became resistance right here. And lo and behold, if we take the top of the June 2019 peak at around 14,000, and we also take the peak that we hit around the 28K level right here, and we also take this trend line right here, you'll see that they literally line up right here. They have a crisscross, and that is exactly where Bitcoin had the bounce from our previous 30% correction. That is literally turning the most significant resistance of all time into support. That is the most bullish thing you're going to find on any Bitcoin chart. Now, you have to remember that, you have to zoom out and have a look at the macros here. There is the potential that we could even come down and retest this level, right? But it would be totally bullish even if we did either one of these, and the trend is your friend, and we would still be putting in higher highs and higher lows. So, guys, if you are interested in how to this is the macro. Obviously, for the hodlers, this is definitely the way to go. If you're interested, though, in how to trade these short-term bounces, I definitely, highly suggest you guys check out my BYBIT tutorial. It is popping up above, $200 in bonuses, and I literally tell you guys exactly how you can make money when Bitcoin goes up or when Bitcoin even goes down. And if you guys subscribe to the channel, I tell you guys my levels. I let you know exactly what I'm looking at, and right now, this is the level. This is the level for the long. You might miss it. It might go a little bit lower. Could get front run. There is a chance it goes to 39, but I'm telling you, if we get down to this $40,000 to $42,000 level, we are looking for a massive mega bounce. This thing's gonna explode. Like I said, the analogy the other day, it's like holding a beach ball underwater and then you let go, right? Fireworks, right? It just, to the moon, guys, right? So, the other thing I need to talk about is that if we actually have a look at the stock to flow, we're actually a little higher than where we should be right now. The stock to flow model is actually showing Bitcoin at around an average of sort of $36,000, $37,000. So even if we were to hypothetically fall $10,000, even from, that level, or more than that right now, but if we were to go down to 36, 37, that still is perfectly in stock to flow. It's exactly where Bitcoin needs to be, right? Now, with the open interest in Bitcoin futures above 15 million, there is a distinct possibility that this could be a bearish signal. Obviously, they talk about the last time this happened, we had a drop of about 10%, and a $45,000 Bitcoin would put us back into that whale bubble territory. So you can see that it is getting quite high again with the open interest. But let's talk about the bullish case. That's all the short term is fine. Sure, Bitcoin could pull back over the next week. We could get another great opportunity to buy. But let me tell you why this thing is destined to continue to grow and why 2022 could actually be the first year in Bitcoin's history to break the super cycle. You have crypto exchange and custodian Gemini launching a new dedicated service for fund managers, including Bitcoin exchange traded funds. That's right, ETF providers. Now, not only have we seen the infrastructure being built, but we've also seen guys like our good old buddy, Kevin O'Leary, even coming out and now saying he's allocated to Bitcoin. In fact, for the first time ever, he's admitted that $100,000 Bitcoin is not actually out of the question.
So talk of 100,000 Bitcoin to you doesn't sound so crazy anymore?
No. I mean, will it go to 20,000 first? Will it go to 5,000 first? I have no idea. I've done a lot of work sort of looking at the philosophy of why you would do this with a portion of your fiat currency. And you really have to get past the idea that it's just a hype or a promotion. The mathematics involved here, the whole idea of mining the coin, the difference between this and proof of stake, all of these things that are Ethereum versus Bitcoin, which I also own some of.
I mean, the guy even changed his profile to laser eyes. Things are getting out of control. Now, I want to read this thread from Mark Cuban, who is the other famous shark from the show, right? Now, he was actually responding to Peter Schiff. Peter Schiff was basically, sort of throwing shade at these guys for turning over. He calls it the Bitcoin cult. Now, check this out. He says, let me help Peter. Gold is hyped as much as crypto. Do we really need gold jewelry? Gold can make you rich. Okay, fine. Bitcoin and ETH are technologies that can make you a banker, allow friction-free exchange of value, and are extensible into an unlimited range of business and personal applications. What we are seeing built with crypto today is just proof of concept. As tech continues to get better, cheaper, faster, there will be newer applications and maybe even something that supersedes everything we know today about crypto. But gold won't ever change, which is why it will die as a store of value. He says, don't forget, gold was a store of value built on technology, from picks and shovels to mining operations that keep trying to improve. Whoever could use the tech of the day to find and mine the most efficiently was the most rewarded. Much like crypto is today, gold is dead, Peter. Move on. And honestly, this was a crazy video that was brought to my attention by Dr. Bitcoin MD. So it says El Dorado in real life. Congolese villagers get the biggest surprise of their lives after they discover a whole mountain of gold. They are digging the soil with gold deposits in it and taking them home. Now, all these people are finding all this gold that we didn't even know about. And this is one of the biggest problems that we've talked about with gold on the channel is we don't even know the actual supply of gold. We know there is 21 million Bitcoin. Who knows if Elon Musk decides that he's going to start mining an asteroid, right? And we already know there's tons of gold at the bottom of the ocean. So this is absolutely crazy. And the more and more and more we're able to find these gold reserves, there was another one in Russia, right? It devalues the gold, which is probably why, if we go back to this, where's the gold chart right here? It has been falling. Now, in all fairness, I would actually expect there to be a bounce here. But overall, the chart's not looking that healthy. And if they're like, oh, well, it's just it's a bull flag. This is not a bull flag, guys. This is a weekly chart. If this was... No, this is not a bull flag. This is the descending channel. This is going down. People are selling their gold and they're moving into Bitcoin. And ever since MicroStrategy announced their purchase, which was essentially at the top, gold has just essentially been going down and down and down ever since. So, I mean, yeah, this is why we need Bitcoin right here. So that's just one thing. Now, talking also about William Quigley, you guys might be familiar with him from Wax. He's also managing director at Magnetic. He was talking about some people that he's been speaking with, and there are a lot of companies that are looking to get out of gold, get out of these traditional instruments, and get into Bitcoin because they're realizing that Bitcoin is the hedge against inflation. It is the best store of value. Here's a clip super quick.
Big companies, though, are betting on Bitcoin in a big way. Companies like Tesla, MasterCard, and Square, they've actually embraced it. How has that changed the conversation around Bitcoin?
Well, I think it's huge. I think the latest survey I saw was about 5% of the publicly traded companies in the United States, the CFOs said they would consider adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet. And the reason they're thinking that is because corporations have trillions of dollars in cash, and where do they put it? You know, there's government bonds, but there's $17 trillion worth of government bonds that yield negative returns. So government bonds aren't going to do much for you. But the big concern among a lot of CFOs and corporate treasurers is inflation and the diminishment of the dollar. So if you can avoid that by holding on to something like Bitcoin, Bitcoin has a finite amount, right? There's only 21 million Bitcoin. So there really isn't a concept of inflation there. And I think as an inflation hedge, it's very attractive to a lot of corporate treasurers.
Also, earlier in the video, he talks about why he does believe that we could see the super cycle get broken, right? Which is essentially the fact that, you know, every 4 years, essentially, we have the halving, 210,000 blocks, and you guys know how it goes, right? This is the built-in mechanism to make the price go up. But what if the 4-year cycle gets broken and it's not so much waiting for the halving? What if the demand literally just gets so crazy that we do have the supply shock? And we already know that we're starting to have it as we speak. But if you think that these price predictions are absolutely insane for Bitcoin, 100,000, 700,000, 1 million, wait until you hear the prediction from Jesse Powell over at Kraken.
So let's start on the price. It's above 50,000 now. Where do you think it's going?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Of course, you know, we can only speculate, but, you know, when you measure it in terms of dollars, you have to think it's going to infinity, right? I mean, this national currency is only 50 years old. It's already showing extreme signs of weakness. And, you know, I think pretty soon people are going to start measuring the price of things in terms of Bitcoin. And I think the true believers will tell you that it's going all the way to the moon, to Mars, and eventually, you know, will be the world's currency. So we won't be measuring the price of Bitcoin in terms of dollars, but, you know, in terms of, you know, what else you're going to be buying with it, you know, probably planets and other solar systems.
Okay, so I'm sorry, but guys, I mean, hold my beer, Jesse Powell, right? So there is no outlandish Bitcoin price prediction that's ever going to officially beat. Bitcoin price is going to infinity, and we're eventually going to be buying planets and solar systems with Bitcoin. So that's it. We've outdone ourselves. I officially don't think I can ever have a crazier Bitcoin price prediction on my channel. I think that pretty much tops the cake. He does go on to explain very similar reasons that we always talk about: inflation, interest from companies, failing fiat currencies from governments, etc. So I just had to share that with you. But so we have a billionaire venture capitalist, Tim Draper. He thinks that Netflix could potentially be the next Fortune 500 company to get into it. He does say that, you know, if I'm the CEO of one of those big organizations, I'm saying we have to own Bitcoin. It's a hedge against inflation. He says that Reed Hastings over at Netflix is a pretty innovative guy. So he does think that Netflix could be big, and it could be the next people that come out to invest in Bitcoin publicly. And he also says that he thinks it's only a matter of time until Amazon will probably start accepting Bitcoin as well. Now, talking about Ethereum, we do have some big Ethereum news today. Actually, if you want, I'll go to the Ethereum chart super quick. Ethereum is actually doing something very similar to Bitcoin. It had a much weaker break out of its falling wedge. It wasn't as strong as Bitcoin. It's still holding above its significant level of around 1536. If it does fall, that would be a little bit bearish for Ethereum, honestly, if it gets back into this wedge again. But I would expect it to get some type of support on this. So, you know, the next level that I'm kind of looking at, if I could just do it rough, this is very, very crude, very rough, somewhere around 14 and 1200. So between 1200 and 1414, but I know that's kind of a big area right now. Ethereum looking a little bit more muddy than Bitcoin, a little bit harder to be trading right now. But as far as Ethereum goes, there is some positive fundamentals potentially. EIP 1559 deployment, aka London fork, is going to be discussed at the Ethereum All-Core Devs meeting this Friday. This is going to be very good for Bitcoin. It introduces the burn mechanism. It's better for gas, right? So these are a lot of the issues that we've been seeing with these high gas fees. And we did have a discussion the other day, actually, with Carl about whether or not these other projects would be able to keep up competitively if Ethereum was to really have that upgrade to get that speed and scalability, to get those gas fees down. It already has the user base. It has the network. It has probably the best dApp for trading that we use right now, which is Uniswap. It could be a little bit better, but arguably it is one of the best out there right now. And it seems like just recently Amazon has actually added Ethereum support to AWS. Now, I didn't confirm this myself. I don't actually use AWS, but considering that it's had over 700 positive comments on the Reddit, it does seem like that is in fact a truth. So having a look at altcoins, guys, talking about the most bullish Bitcoin chart, we just had that. And one of the most simple bullish altcoin charts is just the fact that we turned this previous peak back here in January of 2018 once again into support. We had this crazy wick the week of February 22nd. We touched perfectly, literally perfectly to the bottom, and we have had a bounce. So I would expect that this would create the bottom again, and this is looking very bullish for altcoins. A lot of people ask me what altcoins I'm looking at. Well, I've been pretty straightforward about the altcoins I'm looking at. I'm interested in the Polkadot ecosystem. I'm interested in things that Polkadot is doing that were big on Ethereum, right? Things like Uniswap are big for Ethereum. We've seen oracles huge on Ethereum. NFTs, they're massive. We'll talk about that in a bit. But here's one to keep your eyes on, guys. Polka Foundry. They're saying that they're the one-stop production hub for DeFi applications on Polkadot. The Polkadot ecosystem is growing day by day. We've seen the success of Polka Starter, right? That was a huge one, massive one I told you guys about when it first came out. And these guys could be the next big one as well. Some of the things that I like about it is that they're EVM compatible, straightforward to migrate from Ethereum. I love this, interoperability, compatibility. You don't want to make things complicated if you're already building on Ethereum and you're able to easily migrate the Ethereum virtual machine over. If it's compatible, this is a plus in my book. Built-in, made for DeFi services, make it easy for DeFi apps to manage identities, store files, access Oracle data as well. Here's some of the things you can do. Obviously, lending platforms, that's the given. Decentralized insurance. I told you guys about insurance. It's huge. If you want DeFi to be a reality, you need to implement insurance. Insurance is something that exists in the real world. You crash your car, you have insurance. Your house floods, you have insurance. You're going to need insurance in DeFi, right? Cross-chain DEX, DeFi derivatives, obviously. NFT marketplace. Clearly, this is huge. I don't have to tell you about NFTs. This says the marketplaces can store NFTs, metadata, and large files on Polka Foundry's DocuGuard service. And of course, prediction markets are something as well. Flexible payer, so dApps can employ much more flexible monetization strategies. Like, you can have different types of levels of purchases. You can have free, premium, pay to unlock, right? These are all things you can integrate into the contracts. They'll also have Polka ID as well. This encrypts users' data, as you guys can read more about that. But I'm just bringing this up to you guys because, like Johnny Polka Cash pointed out, derivatives, cross-chain DEX, DeFi insurance, lending, auctions, marketplace, predictions. This thing's got it all. So definitely keep your eyes on Polka Foundry. They are having their public IDO on DuckDAO and Paid. That is happening on the 10th. So I like to tell you guys about these things early so you can do your own research, decide whether or not this is something that interests you. So that's one that I have on my radar. Another Polka project, Polka DEX. This could be something that, really could be that comparative to Uniswap in a way. So they got their testnet v3 coming soon. So we've seen the success of Uniswap, right? It literally is, even though the fees are high, that's where we go when we're doing most of our decentralized swaps. We have seen some also over on the Binance chain as well. But they're looking to build a trustless Ethereum bridge. Now, these guys, they just raised $3 million in a private investment round. And I just want to point out, some of these investors over here. Look at this. You have Kinetic, OKX, NGC, AU21, GBIC, this is just crazy. Obviously, a lot of interest from these guys. And scrolling down, the one thing that they say is retail and day traders also have access to advanced trading tools, including bots, customized trading algorithms, API data links, and advanced market orders. And this is what I've been wanting to sort of see with Uniswap, right? I want to see these different types of orders. Everything is just a market order right now, right? It's a swap. What I want to see is being able to do those complex orders over on Uniswap. And that's like what Polkadex is looking to do. They say, actually, according to the managing director of LD Capital, it's one of the most promising projects among their portfolio, compared with Ethereum-based DEX like Uniswap, SushiSwap, Pokedex leverages Substrate's technical advantage, cross-chain transaction support, and high scalability to build the next generation DEX. Peer-to-peer order-based cryptocurrency exchange for DeFi ecosystem. So you get the same trading functionality and performance of centralized exchanges with the added benefit of better user security. So obviously it's a lot of promises right now. We do need to see how this actually how they actually implement it. And I also just want to give you guys a friendly reminder, just to super quick, don't forget about IGT, the Ignite native currency over at Prometheus. You can stake your prom and earn IGT. This has been out for over a month, but in case you missed the news, I just wanted to refresh you guys that that is still also available. And finally, I want to end on just one thing. NFTs, I know, seems like that there's no way you're stopping them right now. You have a group of art and tech enthusiasts that bought an authentic art piece from pseudo-anonymous English-based street artist Banksy. Then they set it on fire. Okay, they digitized the art piece into an NFT before doing this. It was called Morons, and they purchased it for $100,000. According to the group, the rationale behind the move is to prove that NFTs possess real value. It pointed out that if the artwork and NFT coexist, that the physical artwork will be the primary value. It also wanted to harness the power of blockchains and smart contracts that the piece cannot be duplicated, right? Obviously, if you have an ERC 721, can't be duplicated, right? It's its own unique non-fungible token. They say the goal is to inspire tech enthusiasts and artists. We want to explore a new medium for artist expression, and we are actually going to be having a conversation back over on Rice Crypto TV X's channel. If you want to go check that out, make sure you do. I'll be doing that tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern time, and we're going to be talking about NFTs because I need to understand this craze. I need to understand what is going on right now with the NFTs. So thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, you are a trooper. Thank you to everyone that has been supporting. You guys, I freaking love you guys. If you're interested, definitely check out the tutorials. I have one for Femex, Prime XBT, BYBIT, and obviously not recommended for beginners. You can make money when the market goes up. You can make money when the market goes down, but I do have links below. $200 exclusive bonus for both the first two I mentioned, and Prime XBT is actually a 50% that you get. If you deposit a Bitcoin, they'll literally give you half a Bitcoin to trade with. So all that below. Thank you so much. You guys rock. You're the reason that I make these videos every single day. Until next time, my name is K-Dub. This is CryptoZombie. Stay crypto. And of course, peace out.